coverage.
More experience.
More stats.
And that's final.
ET Final Score is brought to you by Ashley Furniture.
Hello, football fans, and welcome to our ETFinalScore.com high school preview show. I'm joined first by Harold Wilson, who works for the Tyler Morning Telegraph and ETFinalScore.com. He covers the John Tyler Lions and District 16 4A. Welcome, Harold.
Oh, thanks.
How's it going today?
Pretty good. Finally able to get back into the swing of things. John Tyler hadn't played a Friday game for a couple of weeks now, so this week is what I call back to normal.
All right, Harold, the Lions were off last week with the majority of the district. What's coming up this week? Well,
it's the start of district play, which means the games really count. Obviously, they counted before, but now they count as far as, how if you can extend your season or not into the playoffs, and also for seeding purposes. So you don't have that margin of error that you had in the first 5 games. And also maybe the things you wanted to try in non-district, you want to kind of solidify things right now and really go to what you know.
Okay, first the Lions play Corsicana. I remember back in the day they used to play every year when they were in different districts. But what do you think about this game?
It's a great matchup. You just take these two schools. These are two of the winningest 4A programs in the history. Two of the winningest programs, period. I think Corsicana's third all-time in 4A with 39 playoff appearances. You think about Corsicana, you think about a team that's going to get to the playoffs. They're going to be big, strong, and they're going to run the football. You think of some of the same things with John Tyler, a team that's usually, able to make a long run, a competitive team. Both of them went to the state semifinals last year. So on name recognition alone, it's a big-time matchup.
How about the Tigers? I noticed the record's not what it usually is. What about them this year?
Well, first off, they only brought back 6 total starters off a team that won 13 games, and their quarterback Devontae Bell, I believe he only played 1 full game in non-district. That guy was a key player last year. He was the trigger man for that state semifinalist team, and not having him and not bringing back a lot on offense really slowed them up. But sounds like they're getting more healthier now. And you can maybe throw that record out the window. It may be a little bit misleading when it comes to Corsicana as far as what they can do in district.
How about the Lions? Now, they're ranked number 3 in the state. Are they ready to go to that next gear, or what's up with them?
Yeah, they've got some question marks. Non-district, obviously they're one of the top teams in the state. They're a legitimate state contender, but they did struggle running the football. The offense wasn't quite as explosive as maybe you thought they would be, bringing back 9 to 10 starters from a team that averaged 43 points. So they had some injuries too. Coach Holmes says they're rested up. Now, they made one key change this week. They took Reggie Gibson and put him in the slot. They took DeQuante Woods, who was starting at outside linebacker. He's going to take Reggie's spot on offense in the backfield. He runs a little harder, a little more of a physical player. Reggie's a great open field runner, and Coach Holmes is thinking maybe this will spark the offense back to what it was last year.
Well, that should be a great matchup. That's 7:30 Friday at Tiger Stadium in Corsicana. Beautiful stadium, right, Harold?
Oh, yeah. I've been there a couple of times. It's one of the best in East Texas, definitely.
Okay, now let's take a look. I know Lindale's playing at White House. They were huge rivals back when they were in 3A, both of them. What do you think about that game?
It's interesting because Lindale, I believe last time they were in 4A, they won the district. So, they feel like, Coach Melder feels like based on past history, last time I talked to him, he thought, hey, a lot of people are going to be looking at them as a little dog, but they feel like they can compete. Obviously, injuries hurt them too, especially, to running back Trey Acey, but I don't really know how healthy they are now. But they definitely need to be at the top of their game because right now, you look at White House, John Tyler, Corsicana, it's going to be tough on Lindale. They need to be 100%, and that's a tough challenge facing White House, who hadn't lost yet. The White House has a lot of confidence going for them right now, being 5-0.
It should be a great matchup, and the other district matchup has Jacksonville and Nacogdoches.
Yeah.
What about the Dragons and the Indians?
Yeah, with Nacogdoches, they definitely seem like they have players. They got 3 or 4 guys that's really being looked at by big-time schools. Some of the better defensive linemen around East Texas, but it hadn't equated into a win. You look at Jacksonville, they're improved. They have potential on offense, but they struggled a little bit in non-district. Started off the season good with that win over Carthage, but right now those are 2 schools that really need a win right now. So I guess for those 2, it's a good matchup to start with, Jacksonville and Nacogdoches against the other.
All right, Harold. Well, thanks for joining us. That'll be a great Piney Woods matchup. So we'll be right back with Travis Yoasting to look at the TAPS area schools. Welcome back to our ETFinalScore.com high school preview show. We're joined by Travis Yoasting, who covers the TAPS area schools. Welcome, Travis.
Thank you.
What have we learned from the first 2 weeks of district play in TAPS?
I think we've seen that Dallas Christian is kind of the team to beat. They've already beaten Grace Community and Parish Episcopal, and but also you have to watch out for Brook Hill. You know, they're 2-0. They're the only other undefeated team in district left already.
Well, how about Brook Hill? They seem to win every district game. What is it, 28 straight now? Can they keep that going?
Right, they're going to go for 29 on Friday against Trinity Christian Cedar Hill, and I think they've got a good chance to do that. They kind of saw how Grace beat them pretty handily last week, and they're going to want to go out and do just the same.
Well, last week, Will Weathers from Brook Hill had a really outstanding game. Tell us about that.
Well, he accounted for 7 touchdowns, which was a career high for him, and also at halftime he was named the homecoming king. So it was a thrilling week for him, and he's excited to keep that going this week.
What a night for Will. So, and then how did Grace bounce back last week?
Well, they had a disappointing loss to Dallas Christian 2 weeks ago, and then their quarterback was banged up, so they relied on the ground game, and Cade Clayton came through over 300 yards, 5 touchdowns. He was named the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week, and they showed that they can be a running team as much as a passing team, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with the rest of the district, and they may be right there, right behind Dallas Christian.
Okay, what's on tap this week as far as games?
Well, we've got Grace Community. They're hosting Dallas Shelton. Bishop Gorman, they've got a big task against Parish Episcopal at home. Brook Hill, as I said, they're playing Trinity Christian, and that's going to be a game they want to win, try to keep that district streak going. And All Saints, they play Colmesneil, and that's going to be one that they want to start another winning streak after a disappointing loss last week.
All right, Travis, thanks for joining us, and we'll be right back with Chris Perry to talk about some area schools. Welcome back to our ETFinalScore.com high school preview show. This week, Chris Perry, and he normally covers Robert E. Lee, but they're off this week, so we're going to ask Chris to talk about the ETFinalScore.com game of the week, which matches Van and Mineola. Welcome, Chris.
How you doing?
So you're going to be covering the game at Van Memorial Stadium. This is 2 schools that are not very far apart, so it's going to be, I guess it's going to be a pretty good game.
I'm looking forward to it. It's always nice to branch out, especially when I cover 5A football, and this is a chance to cover a 3A game. And 2 schools that, like you said, they're close together, but they don't play each other a lot because they've been in different classifications. And of course, Mineola has now come up into the 3A classification, and this is the district opener. So I think it's gonna be a really, really good ball game.
All right, Chris. Now East Texans will have the opportunity to see 2 of the best players, not only in East Texas but in the state. They have Dak Shaw plays for Mineola and Sid Moore for Van. What about those guys?
I almost liken it to like if it was a prize fight, this would be the main event. This would be the heavyweight bout. Yes, it's 2 teams on the field, but it's going to be a great matchup because both play defense and both play offense, and both are superstars at both. And I really, honestly, you don't want to just say it comes down to one guy, but if Sid Moore has the better game, Van's probably going to win the football game, and if Dak Shaw has the better game, I would pick the Mineola Yellow Jackets to win.
Very good. So we have the orange of Mineola against the red of Van, like a mini Texas OU shootout there. But Mineola has been in 2A, and now they're up to 3A. How they're going to fare in 3A?
It's going to be interesting. I got a chance to cover Mineola in the playoffs last year, and they were pretty good. They ran into a really good new Boston team with good running backs. And Van is so established. I think if you were going to make a prediction, I would pick Van. They're at home. Lindale was the team that was kind of keeping them out of winning district, and Lindale moved up to 4A. So you think that Van would probably be the pre-district favorite to win this game. But Mineola is one of those teams that they really don't. Nobody scares them. They've played up. I've talked to Coach Drennan, and they said they've played up all the time. So they're prepared for it, and I think they're excited about the opportunity.
Very good. That's our ETFinalScore.com game of the week. So be sure and check that out on CBS 19, and also we have a weekly TV show on KCEB 11 o'clock each Friday night, and on CBS on Saturday. Now before you leave, Chris, we're going to talk a little bit about Lee. They have a bye this week, but I know they're not resting. What are they working on for next week?
I think that they just, things are not going well, or things are not going the way they want it to go, but that doesn't mean you can't turn it around. And of course it all starts at home, homecoming against Rockwall. They've got about a week and a half to prepare for it. It'll be next Friday. It's a huge game because not only does it still give you an opportunity to play into the postseason, they have to win out. to play into the postseason. But it's just a chance to get a district victory at home and to get some good feelings going into the rest of your football season.
Very good. Thanks, Chris, for joining us, and we'll be back next week for our ETFinalScore.com show. Be sure and check us out each week.